I wanted to talk with you a little bit about the dangers of broken wheel studs, how it happens, and what you can do about it. When you over tighten and break a bolt by hand, there's a moment, you can feel it getting harder and harder and harder, and then you'll get about an eighth of a turn where the pressure doesn't get any more. And anybody who's done a lot of wrenching knows that that's the oh shit point. Oh shit, I broke it. And you can back it off and that bolt might look fine, but what you've done is you've twisted it. And if you continue on, it'll come right off in your hands. So the thing is, when you're using an air gun to put on car tires, and you just hold the trigger down and you let it hammer, bang, 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 you never feel that twist. You can't feel anything. Which is why it is essential that you demand to have your wheels hand torqued. Demand it and watch them do it, because you know, I have seen the aftermath of twisted off lug studs, and it was a 1-ton Ford and it was a rear wheel, and when that finally let go, there was a loaded trailer on the back of the truck, and they were doing 70 miles an hour on the interstate, and that wheel passed them. Now they were lucky. The Ford has huge brake drums in the rim, and so it just rolled on the brake drum and held everything together long enough to get the truck stopped. But it could have been really bad, and if it had been a front, well, they could have all died. So it is essential that you demand hand-torqued lug nuts when you're at a tire shop. I know that they have these extensions and they're all color-coded, and they say that, yes, it flexes and it stops at the right torque. Well, I think that's bullshit. In the case of this, it wouldn't have mattered. The kid grabbed the wrong extension and he just snapped off the Ford's studs. But you couldn't tell because your hand wasn't on there. You didn't feel it, but yet they were all twisted. And the aftermath, like I said, was a wrecked truck. But nobody died. And that's, you know, if there's a blessing, that's the blessing there. So when it comes down to putting wheels on, I will often take them off with an air wrench. I never put them on any other way than by hand. You just have to do it by hand. Let me get this wheel on the ground and I'll show you how to tell if your wheels are being properly torqued simply by watching through the window at a tire shop. When you're torquing the wheels, you're going to want to see a torque wrench, number one. This one happens to be a clicker wrench. They also have beam wrenches. I'll show you a beam wrench. This is a beam wrench, and so as you torque, it flexes and then it indicates foot-pounds there. I think I'd prefer to see a tire shop use a clicker. Usually you're supposed to do 2 stages. So I have the beam here, this clicker rather, set at 70, and that'll be my first stage. And you can see that most of my lug nuts are already at 70. Okay, so we've gone all the way around, and you can hear the click when it goes off. I'll now run this up to the final stage. I'll do it in 2. And so this is 110. Alright, so now we're up at the final stage. And that is a torqued wheel. That's all the faster it is. If you had a good tire shop, they probably have 2 separate wrenches. They might even be permanently locked at the 2 different stages. Whatever. But you should see 2 stages. Now here is how to tell. The guys have gone, they've run it on with their air impact, and you went back and said, hey, you didn't torque them. Here's how to tell that they actually go back, because they don't want to do it, that they actually went back and did a real honest check. To simulate this, I'm going to go ahead and back the wrench off 20 pounds. And what I'm trying to do is simulate a lug nut that is over torqued. So now, you've asked them, hey, go back and check my wheels. Go back and check torque. And they gave you the color-coded line and you said no, And you go out and you watch the guy go like that. See? They're torqued. You see the problem with that? That nut isn't moving. What that means is they're over-torqued. That's the very problem you're trying to avoid. You want to watch, and here, I'm going to back it off so that I can retorque it. You want to watch that nut move. You do not see how it's moving, and then we come up on torque. That's a properly torqued nut. So you want to make sure that as they go around your wheel, you see the wrench move. Otherwise, all they're doing is proving that the wheels are over tightened. I wish those people who had all the lug nuts shear off had been able to get a clicker wrench and gone and tried to back their nuts off just to get an idea of how tight they were. My guess is something north of 180 foot-pounds would be my guess. You know, 110, which is what I have them on here. To be honest, that's a little light for a big truck, but it's holding up fine. I advise you to follow whatever is in your book. I bet on that truck that sheared them off that they were above 200 foot-pounds, and it's because the guy grabbed the wrong gun. So even if their little color-coded socket extensions are perfect, the kid grabbed the wrong gun, and a truck was damn near totaled, and it was all because somebody didn't go around the wheel, click, click, click. They'd have known in an instant something was wrong, and you would have known, because if I had broken a stud off with the clicker, it's never gonna click. I'm gonna break it off, and then the torque's gonna drop, and you're gonna know I gotta start pulling studs. So insist, demand. Do not let them just run these on with the impact gun. You're paying for it. Demand it, and your life could be on the line.